better.
And I tell you what, it gets better.
There's something special about a festive fixture under the lights, and tonight the Bantams host Port Vale. Looking forward to it.
Big time, dead last. They've just sacked the manager and preparing for a Port Vale.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, better get moving. The boys are here.
Make sure you like and subscribe for part 1, where Michael and I delve into some old Bradford City shirts and discuss why New Zealand and Ukraine are so special to us.
So obviously, in the last video, Michael, we talked about how there's very few links from a Ukrainian and New Zealand perspective to Bradford City. But tonight that changes because the Waine Train rolls into town.
Come on.
Port Vale forward Ben Waine is a player I know all too well from my time in New Zealand. In fact, the very first Wellington Phoenix match I ever watched was up at my wife's uncle's house in the Coromandel, and it included a player profile on a young lad who'd just signed his first professional contract. That was Ben Waine, and in the profile he said,
"My ultimate goal would be to play in Europe."
Fast forward 6.5 years and he's now in his 3rd season of English football. And after spells at Plymouth and Mansfield, he's recently hit form for Port Vale, scoring 3 goals in his last 5 games. But with Vale having just sacked their manager, the big question tonight is simple. Does Waineo start? Surely he has to.
I tell you what, 3 goals in 5 for a team that's rock bottom is an incredible return.
It's not bad at all. Yeah. And they've got other goal threats. Devante Cole, obviously we know a lot about him. He will be wanting to score against us tonight. He's done it before, Fleetwood, when they came. I remember him scoring against us then.
Bradford's ex-City players love scoring against City. It's just written in the stars. Anytime we play, we lose against bottom of the league and ex-players score against us, which is perfect for Devante Cole.
Exactly. Teams are in.
So, you know, let's not take the piss here.
I certainly wasn't.
Well, I think you are.
We were mentioning earlier about how we feel this is one of the most photogenic stadiums in England. Just from every view, like you can see, obviously got the cityscape from this stand, that corner over there, and you look up here and these 2 stands look really intimidating, especially from the away end over there. That's your away end. And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it as a stadium. Some mock it and say it's unfinished.
Yeah,
we get that unfinished.
We've got a stand for every league.
That's it, a stand for every league. So you got your Premier League stand, Championship, League 1, League 2. So. I always remember Devante Cole's photo when he signed for Bradford City. Can you remember that?
No.
He looks like the happiest man on earth. I don't know if it was the following season or the same season, but do you remember Greg Lee, left back?
Yes, I do remember.
He signed and it was literally the contrast to that Devante Cole. He couldn't have looked happier. Penalty shout and a half there.
It's a Stonewall.
The referees
to the Valley Parade, don't they? Don't want to be swayed by the crowd.
They're not having it. The fans aren't happy.
The fans are mooing.
They're fuming.
Ed.
So Michael, obviously we touched on the Ukrainian Bantams in the last video. What more can you tell us about the Ukrainian Bantams?
Basically there was just a big group of Bradford City fans who were in this Ukrainian diaspora. But what's fantastic is it was all a little bit of fun, and then actually when the 2022 invasion happened in Ukraine, the second invasion, it became much more important.
Yeah.
We're in talks with the clubs to get tickets for refugees, bringing groups of Ukrainians to the games. I think it was in the first 2 weeks of the war, they invited 4 or 5 members on the pitch. My good friend Slavko Demchuk, I know he went on the pitch as well. It was a real show of support from the club to the Ukrainian Bantams. So it went from something that just sort of represented a little group of 5 or 10 lads in Bradford to representing actual Ukrainians fleeing war. So very, very special and very proud to be a tiny part of that group.
Yeah, that's quality, man. We've got the footage, we'll have to VAR. There's a man down holding his head. Oh, it's hard to see, isn't it? He's been dragged down there. Oh.
I'm saying no pen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about
I haven't got enough of the. I wouldn't be happy if we got that given again.
No, same. They've just sacked the manager,
yeah.
so yeah. So
Typical.
do you have a particular game that you can remember that made you question why you ever come here? Like one of your worst experiences, because one comes to mind for me, and it was 2011. We played Barnet at home under Peter Taylor, right?
Yeah.
1-0 up at half time, cruising. We were terrible that season, by the way, but Barnet were even worse. Anyway, second half they came out, scored 3 in 6 minutes.
Oh my God.
There was about 18 Barnet fans because I counted them. And that game, I genuinely thought, this isn't worth the money. So what did I do following season? Bought a season ticket, yeah.
There's been games here which on paper don't mean anything to what sort of like, it didn't matter about promotion, we weren't really in touch with relegation, but we were like on the verge of relegation, and they basically did £1 a ticket. £1 a ticket. Stadium was full, it was Stockport, and Gareth Evans scored. Do you remember?
I was in Finland during that game, right? And I remember, didn't they go 2-1 up?
Yes,
And they were down to 9 men.
Yeah.
That's how bad we were that season. I think that Barnet game was the same season. So
so it must have, so there you go.
That's what Peter Taylor did to us.
Yeah, the highs and lows. And I think that was his last game. That was Peter Taylor's last game.
Right.
Because he was leaving after, so he basically won and he went out like that.
He went out on a high.
But I remember just that being one of the best games I've ever been to. Because I was like 15 at the time, and you sort of like, people, right, if you support a big team, this is what I've always said, football is not always about winning a cup or a league, because, you know, only the very privileged few get to win trophies and win leagues and get promotions, right? Football is about moments, do you know what I mean? And that, for me, you know, yes, Bradford City, I went on to watch us beat Chelsea and have some great nights, but that moment was like, you know, fantastic.
Yeah, gotta love it. Go on.
If you want an introduction to supporting Bradford City, right?
Let's go.
My first ever away day, I was in year 10, it was 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And we basically had a 6'8" defender, basically called Luke Oliver.
What a beast. I'm putting a photo of Luke Oliver in now.
He turned like a canal boat, he wasn't mobile, great defender, but what the gaffer, the manager, liked to do is put him up front for the last 10 minutes.
That's how short of options we were. Just bang Luke up front.
Luke Oliver and Burton away, whatever year, 2010 or 2009, he equalised in the 81st minute with a looping header to send us into absolute dreamland.
That's it.
And I tell you what, it gets better. Friday night, I think it could have been Easter Friday, I went down to Southend. There was only, I'm not joking, Paul, there were only about 50 of us, right? And I cannot remember if he equalised or scored, but again he got put up front, and it wasn't a header, he dribbled through and curled it into the far corner, and we all went crazy. I need to remember whether that was an equaliser or a winner, but I remember I had my Santa hat on, so it wasn't Easter, it was just before Christmas. It's all flooding back. I apologise for the random memories.
I remember one game where we actually played Oliver and Hansen up front at the same time. It was like 6'8" and 6'4" or whatever Hansen was. Like 2 target men, why the not?
Football.
Yeah. Just lump it long, hope for the best.
We used to pass it to the right back, and every time we would just diagonal ball it.
We're like Simon Ramsden, just boom! Just get rid.
Take me back.
One of them will win it. Anyway, let's hope there's good times to come tonight. Yeah, we've got the time. Come on! Corner! must have a knock. He must have a knock. You don't leave a locomotive like that on the bench. Waino's there. He's on the pitch.
And I tell you, it was be a good one to clip. There was an infamous brawl here.
Oh, the
Bradford City
Brawley. Yeah.
The brawler here.
Brawley.
Luke Oliver were flew in
Yeah.
with an elbow. We'll have to get the footage on there.
Johnny Mack as well.
Johnny Mack swinging.
Yeah. Little Johnny Mack.
Yeah. There's been some iconic days here.
10 minutes of added time. There's got to be time for some Waine Train.
Yeah, there has to be.
You've got to get him. Oh, you need a goal. Ooh. Yeah, got one. He's broke now. Bring him on. He's another forward. Why wouldn't you bring him on? 10 minutes to go. Exactly.
I don't like this.
With this victory as well, we're going in January in a really good position. But it'll be interesting to see whether City do strengthen, because I think, you know, you look at where we are in the table. Cardiff, they're probably going to win the league.
Yeah.
That second place is so up for grabs. So you've got to invest, haven't you? In that position, you've got to just push the boat out a little bit.
Everyone around you is going to add to the squad. You have to do it to stay in the mixer. And you listen, you're only like 2 injuries off finishing mid-table.
Exactly.
Sometimes one.
And I think there'll be a few moving on, so we should have the funds to do it. I think centre mid, we should probably bring some more strength in there. Up front as well, especially if Cook's leaving, we need another out striker. I don't know, defensively, we have a lot of centre-backs, but they've spent a lot of time injured.
Yeah.
So again, do you look at that?
Ready.
It's a good spell from Vale, this. Oh, he's done it. There we go, a good tackle. So 1-0 full time, fair result probably, but a poor game, has to be said.
Yeah, it was very, very scrappy, but I think we expected it was going to be tough.
Yeah, they were always going to make it
Port
hard.
Vale were very physical. And you know what? A 1-0 win against bottom of the league, it's a sort of result that takes you up sometimes.
Yeah, and in fairness, Bradford have been doing that all season. It's not something we're used to. We normally go to those teams and struggle, but not this season.
Not this season.
Not this season. So we've done it.
Big positive.
Gone to Plymouth, who were bottom, won that, and then tonight won again. So it's looking good going into January as well. Hopefully we strengthen and push on and get another promotion.
Charge.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's have it.
See you on the flip side.
Thanks for watching.